You are now watching the Movie Juice Podcast.
The juice is loose.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Juice Podcast. I'm Dylan.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm James.
Movie Juice. Movie Juice. Movie Juice. Movie Juice. Juice the movie.
You sounded like a boat horn.
Thank you. That's what I was going for.
You did a great job.
You sounded like a SpongeBob's alarm clock.
Thank you.
You did a great job, Mr. Magoo.
Hey.
I'll make you feel gooey.
Oh shit, son.
Shit, son.
Wish this fucking movie would have.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, this movie kind of sucked. I mean, it didn't suck. It was just like...
Just not marketed towards us.
It's not for me, and that's fine. Even though I like Ryan Reynolds, I just think the movie in general is not for me.
I just don't think that it's, like, memorable at all. But I guess we should tell the people, the good people, what we watched.
We are doing the 2009 movie, The Proposal, starring Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock.
Yep. Happy Valentine's Day, bitches.
Happy Valentine's Day to those who celebrate.
Do you guys want to be my Valentine?
Yeah,
I
sure.
already got one.
We have a wife, but I'll be yours because me and my wife don't celebrate it.
Thank you.
All
At
right,
least somebody
Well,
wants to be my Valentine.
This will be mine and Sarah's first one, so I gotta be real about this one.
I only celebrated mine and Grace's first one.
There you go.
We half-ass celebrated the second one and we just stopped.
So next year, you better be there.
Okay, 2026. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Movie
Fuck.
Juice will be on a new level.
I just remembered
I'm
that.
on a new level.
We'll finally have a website, hopefully.
I just remembered that it's 2025.
Yeah, man. We're deep in because we're in February now.
How was everybody's first month? Write in moviejuicepod@gmail.com.
Because it's our
We'd love to
Valentine's
hear-
Day episode.
We'd love to hear from you. We'll read it on the pod, maybe.
Did you watch any good Fuck You It's January movies?
We did.
How was The Wolfman? Was it good?
What y'all think about Flight Risk?
It was something.
Or Dogman?
That was something else.
Yeah.
Something else.
When did this movie come out exactly, Dylan?
2009, you said it already.
Yeah, but when?
June 1st, 2009, at the El Capitan Theater.
El Captain.
El Capitan.
El Capitan
El Captain, my
Theater
captain.
in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard. And then June 19th for the rest of us in the United States.
For the rest of us.
So I was getting ready to go into 7th grade.
I was going into
I
8th.
was going into 8th. Life sucks.
The budget for this movie was $40 million, and the box office, I genuinely can't believe it made this much money. It made $317.4 million.
Honestly, though, I can kind of see it making this much money.
I mean, yeah, because the
No, it's just different times, man. Because
I
like
think
that was completely different.
I
Time
think
back
The
then.
Blind Side had may have came out or is about to come out.
I think The Blind Side, I feel like it's already come out. And Sandra Bullock's like a big
Yeah.
Hollywood actress at the time still. I mean, nowadays, even now, you know, Sandra Bullock, a movie comes out, and I feel like it's going to push some numbers.
You don't really see her much nowadays.
Nah.
At least I haven't.
Yeah, she doesn't do a lot.
Wasn't she in a movie with Channing Tatum, like in 2023? Or was that someone else?
That might have. I don't
Where
know.
she was like a writer and wrote
Oh,
her
yeah,
own
that was
story?
her. That was
That
her.
was Sandra Bullock, I
Oh yeah,
believe.
that was yeah.
I know my wife and your mom wanted to go see it together.
Yeah, I never saw it.
I don't know if they ever did, but...
You know, like Sandra Bullock's a big actress. Ryan Reynolds is like starting to get big. He's very much like a...
He was a comedic actor, then he was kind of doing rom-coms, and then...
Yeah,
And
and
then
this
he's
is definitely
Deadpool.
his big rom.
And this is before Green Lantern.
I would assume this is kind of still within his big rom com run he had.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What other rom-coms is he in, though?
Would you consider Van Wilder, or is that more like a stoner?
That's more of a comedy.
It's
I
like
would
a
say.
party movie, like very
Uh,
much the same vein as like American Pie, I would say.
He's had some, but they're just not coming to my brain for some fucking reason.
he's in...
I really can't think of him in any other ones.
So I guess it's mostly just generally comedies, I guess. But like that was basically what he was known for, was just comedy.
Honestly, bro, I can't even name another fucking movie Ryan Reynolds is in.
Waiting.
Deadpool.
Before
Before
Deadpool.
He
Yeah.
was in Waiting, Van Wilder.
Still waiting.
I don't think he was in the sequel.
Oh, is he not?
He might not.
I've never watched either of those.
What? Oh, okay. We gotta add Waiting to the list. Waiting is just like up there with Clerks for me. Not like in terms of best movie, but like it's the same thing of like if you've ever worked in the food industry, you should watch that movie. It's pretty fucking funny.
No, I've never seen it. It always
He
comes
was
on
in
Comedy Central.
Adventureland.
and I'd skip it.
Adventureland. Yep. Bro, we gotta add that to the list too. I love that fucking movie.
I like Adventureland a lot.
Oh, he's in
It's
Definitely
real fucking
Maybe.
good. Oh yeah, I forgot it. That one I forget
That was 08.
exists. Yeah. I forget about that one.
So
a
this
lot.
is very much his rom-com run.
Yeah.
Just Friends. He was in that.
Oh, I love that
one.
one too. It's funny. It's not as good, but it's funny. It's a fun watch. And it's a Christmas movie. We could do it for
He was
Christmas.
in the remake of the Amityville Horror in 2005.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wasn't he? Shit. Oh, and we're
Blade Trinity.
I was gonna say it wasn't
Oh,
a
I
rom
was gonna say
com.
Blade
Blade
Trinity.
Trinity. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hey,
Harold
hey,
Kumar go to White
Blade
Castle.
2? I know he's not in that one, but we need to watch that for the pod.
He's on one episode of
Yeah,
Scrubs,
Just a second.
apparently.
Fuck you, just a second one.
I just know you were sucking his cock last year, man.
I love that fucking movie.
I know you were, but like we didn't. That's not even the movie we fucking saw.
There is a movie I want to see with Ryan Reynolds called Voices, where he's like a serial killer or some shit. I don't know. I know Andrew
Oh,
Kendrick's
I
in it.
have that on DVD.
Hell
I
yeah.
randomly just bought it on DVD at Walmart because it was cheap one day.
When did that come out?
2014.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I've never.
because when I was working, I think I was working at Taco Bell when I bought it. That's how long ago that was.
He's also in that really shitty Jeff Bridges movie called R.I.P.D.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
there's
that
two of
movie-
those.
That movie fucking sucked.
They made a second one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think Ryan Reynolds is in it. I think it's a different motherfucker.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
But,
Because like the first one fucking sucked. I did not like it at all.
Would you guys recommend this movie?
No.
Not really. No.
It, like, hey, look, if you're into rom-coms, go for it, but it's not for me.
I was
would
gonna
watch
say-
any of the rom-coms we just mentioned. Minus maybe definitely maybe. I would say watch that one before this one.
I will say, like, my mom absolutely loves this fucking movie, but she also really likes Sandra Bullock, and she also really loves Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
So it's like 100% up her alley.
That's
and
fair.
also, she watches Hallmark Christmas movies any time of the year. So this is like literally my mom's cup of tea right here.
I was gonna say if you're like a big, I don't know if say if you're a big Ryan Reynolds fan, but if you're a big Sandra Bullock fan,
For sure, go for it.
and if you're really into rom-coms, fuck it. And also like
It's not the worst rom-com I've ever seen.
no, me neither.
Like, there are some enjoyable moments to this movie. It's just like they're very few and far between.
That's what I was gonna say. Like maybe if let's say you're in a rom-com binge and you throw that one in there, I could see you watching it. This is 2009 and we went and saw it in the theater, spent our hard-earned money on it. I don't think I'd necessarily be pissed off about it, but I wouldn't be too happy neither.
The only time I wouldn't be mad about it if it was like for like Stimulus Tuesday. Sounds like a brand new concept then.
But like other than that, I'd say this is definitely a skip. We just picked a movie to watch for Valentine's Day. Not really sure why we decided on The Proposal, but that's what we watched.
Yeah.
Do we want to get inside baseball with it? Because I think the story is funnier.
Because we were originally going to do
My
Bloody
Bloody
Valentine.
Bloody
And then we
Valentine's.
realized we just really didn't want to watch that movie.
And then we also realized it wasn't on anything that we have streaming. And then we were gonna do The Proposal. And then, like, literally right when we're about to watch it, they take it off of streaming.
Yep.
And we found, shout out to
Yeah, we need to shout that dude on YouTube out.
Movies you love.
Movies
Movies
You
You
Love.
Love.
on
It took me a
YouTube.
minute to find it because
It's-
for some reason it wouldn't open from the link you sent me, so I had to actually go and search it in
Like-
YouTube. And I kept scrolling through fucking movies.
Yeah, it took me a while to find
And then I
it.
finally found Movies You Love. I was like, oh, cool.
It kept being like
And it kept not pulling up. I would type in the channel name and it wouldn't pull up a channel either. And I guess because YouTube probably knows it's the full movie.
Well, it's also the only movie on that guy's channel.
Yeah.
And it had, like, 88,000 views. But yeah, shout out to that guy. So,
yeah, for real, because he definitely kind of saved us.
Yeah.
this
Saved
week.
our ass on that one.
yeah, you saved Movie Juice's ass on that one.
That we would have had to spend like $10 on a movie that nobody fucking wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never seen this movie before. I just want to throw that out there before.
I've seen it once before, and I really didn't fuck with it back then.
Well, okay, let me.
I've
There's
never-
some funny scenes I liked when I was younger, but that's
I've
about
never
it.
watched it from beginning to end.
I was
would
about to say that too.
I would
Yeah.
just catch my mom watching it randomly here and
Oddly
there.
enough, I did because it was one of those movies I think my parents were watching. And I was just in the living room with them. I was a kid.
Like, I'd catch it on. My mom and stepdad would just be watching it, and I would just be like, oh, I'll just catch it at random parts.
Yeah, I was about to
That's
say.
fair.
I think.
I think after the first watch, maybe that's what happened to me too. But like, I've only ever seen it once all the way through once.
There was definitely some times. There was some scenes that I like recall from a younger time. So I guess that I caught bits and pieces of it as well. But
Right.
I'd never watched the actual movie, or like the whole thing. So I didn't really say that I'd ever seen it.
Yeah, and like as much like it's very much a meme movie that like Deadpool and Wolverine makes it out to be, and that one little joke about it. Like
The
it's
Proposal.
like it's very fun to clown on the movie
So,
because it is just not that great of a rom com.
No. So you guys want to
Just hop on in.
yeah.
Touchstone Pictures.
So Disney made this.
Yeah. And there was another one. I missed it. And then it kind of starts. And it's Sandra Bullock on a stationary bike.
Yep. Like that's my word. That's my note, word for word.
And then it's Ryan Reynolds waking up being perfect because he's handsome.
Yeah, and also realizing he's running late already.
Yeah, I wrote, but not really because he's late. And then Sandra Bullock's in a steamy mirror and she's making weird faces at herself. It's like a morning routine thing, I assume.
I would guess, yeah.
And then there's a coffee shop. And Ryan Reynolds goes into the coffee shop, and the coffee shop lady gives him fuck me eyes.
She's very sweet on him.
Which, I mean, to be fair, I would be too.
Sandra Bullock is bitchy on the phone.
Yeah.
And then while Ryan Reynolds is running into the office, you don't really know why he's in such a hurry, I guess. I mean, obviously he's late, whatever, but like you don't know like exactly the reasoning for his panic, I would say.
Yeah.
And then he runs into the mail guy.
He runs into the mail
Yeah,
guy.
Spills coffee
I thought
all over
mailroom
him.
guy sucks.
Yeah, mailroom guy needed to get the fuck out of the way.
And then Ryan Reynolds is like goes up to a dude that works there, and he's like, "Hey, trade me your shirt. Or give me your shirt, and
Oh, that
I'll
guy's
give
name's
you
Jordan, by the way.
yeah, Jordan, and I'll give you
They say it a
tickets.
couple times throughout the movie.
I'll give you tickets to the Yankees Red Sox game."
Yeah, it was like a third base
Seats.
line dugout, like behind the dugout, basically.
And then Sandra Bullock gets there, and everybody starts messaging in the email chain, and she calls them. They call her it,
Yeah, it's here. Nosferatu, he's coming.
and then you find out that Ryan is her intern because we haven't gotten Ryan's name yet. It's Andrew, but at the time,
Yeah,
we don't.
I-
know.
I didn't get it for a good couple scenes.
Honestly, I went to IMDb so I could actually write the characters'
Yeah.
names.
And then you find out that Frank is doing Oprah. Frank is like, so they work at like this publishing firm.
Yep.
And
Because
Frank
Ryan
is
Reynolds wants to be editor.
And Frank is a author of
Yeah.
books, and he doesn't do a lot of
Press.
appearances.
Yeah.
So it's like a big deal that he's going to do Oprah.
And Bob was supposed to get him
But Bob
him
didn't.
on Oprah, but it's coming up in a minute or two. But I think they mentioned Bob briefly when they're talking about Oprah.
We also forgot to mention where like they go into Margaret's office and like Ryan gives her his coffee.
Yeah, and Jillian wants you to call her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jillian's the coffee shop lady.
And then he explains what happened to her coffee, and she was like, "Oh, you like your coffee with no sugar or sugar-free cinnamon latte with?" And he was like, "Yeah, it tastes like Christmas in a cup."
Because basically he's getting two of the same just in case something happens to the first
He
one.
buys that. Yeah, he buys the coffee for himself too.
Yeah.
Just in case hers spills. And then they go to Bob's office.
Yeah.
And while she's leaving the office, Ryan Reynolds sends out a message that said the witch is on her broom.
They also talk about how Janet has ugly hands.
Who?
Janet?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's something they say in passing before they head to the office. Because they're talking shit about Janet.
And this is when I write down that his name is Andrew.
Yeah, because he does send an IM like the rest of the office, so the witch is on her broom.
And she also calls him pathetic over the coffee because he's too afraid.
Yeah.
But I get
And
it.
then she sees that Jordan has a spilled coffee on her shirt, and then she kind of puts two and two together.
And then they go into Bob's office, and she tells Bob that she was able to get Frank to do Oprah, and that
Even though she asked him multiple times.
she asked Bob to call him, and then she
Yep.
found out that Bob didn't even call him to try.
Yep.
So Bob gets fired
And like she also says that he's giving him 2 months to find a new job.
and to resign. So
And
she's
to
not even
resign.
really firing him; she's just kind of forcing him to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
And then,
he's getting, and then he like comes out of the office.
Because they walk away.
And starts a
and they're both like, please don't do it, Bob. Because he's got the crazy eyes. And I'm like, don't do it, Bob.
And then he calls her a poisonous bitch and says that she's threatened by him.
Which, like, I had to pause the movie and I had to complain about this part to my wife. I was like, why the fuck is he so angry?
Yeah, that's a good
Like-
fucking deal.
Like, he's getting a paycheck for 2 whole fucking months to find a new job, to get the fuck out of town. And he's just like, you're a bitch. Like, motherfucker, I would take that deal.
That's a good fucking deal. Like, I would
Yeah.
take that in a heartbeat right now.
Like, if my employer was just like, hey, buddy, we're gonna have to fire you, but you have 2 whole months,
And we'll pay you.
and we'll pay you. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the heads up.
And he also says that they are all treated like slaves by her. And then she says that she fired him because he's lazy and incompetent, and
he cheats on his wife.
Yeah. Also, Kyle pointed out earlier that Bob is the same guy from Spider-Man 2 that's a dick to Peter Parker.
So really, he got his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get there in 30 minutes or your ass is fired.
Girl!
That's what you get for firing Spider-Man.
Motherfucker.
5 years later, you got fired by Sandra Bullock. Fuck
Yeah.
you, man. And then Andrew will have him thrown out, and then he's gonna put it on YouTube if he talks.
On that, what's that website? And I was like, WorldStar? And then she says YouTube. I was like, oh, no, YouTube, my bad. WorldStar wasn't a big thing until a couple years afterward.
World Star.
WorldStar?
And then
But I thought it was also funny that, like, he said YouTube, and I was like, oh, we're watching this movie on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Ryan, Andrew, but she says, well, with him gone, I'm gonna need you to work the weekend and help. So he has to call. He's like, it's my grandma's birthday, but it's fine, I'll miss it. And then he has to call grandma and explain why he's not coming.
Gammy.
I put Gam, but like it's still a dumb nickname for your grandma. So either way, like
Yeah,
they're all the same to me.
Gammy and Gam are both pretty bad.
Yeah, like I've never.
You call your grandmother Gam Gam?
And then you find out that his family tells him to quit every day because he talks about how much he hates his job.
Yeah.
But I also want to
for a good reason, we find out later though, or from their point of view, kind of would be like I get why the family would think that.
And then I did want to mention though, it does seem like Andrew and Margaret have like a pretty decent rapport.
Yeah.
Even though he thinks she's like a bitch, like it seems like she's not really that bad to him.
Yeah, no.
Which I mean, you find out later she is a little bit.
Agreed.
Pretty soon actually.
Yeah.
But then Margaret gets called upstairs. And you find out that she, like, her visa is expiring and she's going to get immigrated back to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of funny that she's Canadian, but Ryan Reynolds isn't, even though in real life Ryan Reynolds is Canadian.
She's
Yeah.
not.
And she's not. And they're telling her that she's going to have to leave for a year and they're going to give Bob her job, even though she just fired Bob.
Yeah, so he's the only one that like knows the business.
And then while she's in there, Andrew has, like, gotten a phone call and he comes up there and he's like...
Well, because earlier we're on the way up, she's like, come in 5 minutes and get me out of there because we got a lot to do.
Right.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, my bad, sorry.
I don't know that because I wrote it down.
That's right. No, you're good.
And then Andrew interrupts.
Yeah, he got that thing. The girl's on the line. Something about getting engaged, and that's when she's like, "Ooh."
She's like, oh, wait
The
up.
wheels in her brain start spinning. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Well, because like Big Boss tells her that like she needs to go kiss ass to Bob and bring him back because old Bobo is the only person that has the same amount of experience.
Yep.
And then,
Like, oh yeah, we and Andrew are
Good again.
engaged.
yeah, we're engaged. And he says, we are.
And then she's like, we all fall in love with our secretary. I was like, what?
It's like, damn, okay.
I was like, that one actually got a chuckle out of me because I thought it was funny.
Yeah, because she says Edwin and LaQuisha, because that's who he fell in love with, someone named LaQuisha.
Oh, okay.
Yep, she does say that. And Edwin's like one of the dudes upstairs that she's talking to.
And the other guy's like, well, I mean, okay, well, that's good, I guess. Just, get us the paper so we can...
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
'cause-
terrific, but make it legal.
Yeah, because my note says Big Boss is eating it up, and he's like, yeah, just make it legal.
Word immediately gets out around the office
Yep.
while they're walking through the
Yep.
cubicles.
Yeah.
I find it funny, like, Margaret's acting like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And, like, you can tell Andrew's like, what the fuck just
Andrew's
happened?
like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
And then Andrew gets blackmailed into marrying her.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna do this because if you don't, as soon as Bob takes over, he's gonna fire you because he doesn't fucking need you, and then
Yep.
your career's gonna be gone. So you need me to do this, otherwise your career's just as dead. And I was like, well, shit, I guess I'm getting married.
And then Drew knows she's right.
But also Andrew knows that it's like fucking illegal to do this. So he's like, well, it's fucking illegal. She's like, well, I mean, you either do that or your career's gone.
And then they go to the immigration office.
Yep.
And they skip the line because Margaret thinks she's better than everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
I literally, oh man, I got a whole note right here.
Go ahead.
I put Margaret is hella stuck up. Like normally women like that are just career-driven women who genuinely are nice, but she genuinely seems like she's just feels like she's better than everybody else.
Yep.
Like she's always disregarding smaller people, kind of like she does to Andrew until she finds out later that he's like fucking rich. Or he's not, he's not rich, but like he finds out he comes from money,
His family's rich.
and then she kind of changes her tune a little bit. Not as like a gold digger, but just like oh okay, well I guess you are kind of someone who I shouldn't treat like shit.
Yeah. Which is kind of shitty in another way.
Yeah, because I'm like, but like he comes around, but just like she definitely has that higher than thou attitude.
But they get immediately pulled to an office because Bob
snitched.
because she's like, well, Bob's just a disgruntled former employee that I just fired.
And he wanted to do this because he never approved of our love anyway.
And then you find out like from the guy, I don't think I ever called the agent dude's name.
No, but he's a fucking prick.
Gilbertson.
Gilbertson.
I got it at the end of the film.
Gotcha. I put in my notes, this is definitely not how this works, because I was like, I literally know someone who got married for the legal benefits of it, and nothing happened to them. It's not really how this works, I don't think. Like,
It might have used to have been, though.
maybe, I guess, I don't know.
But he
I don't
said
really know
they're
the
gonna-
legality of everything, but I was like, I just feel like it's not that big of a fucking deal. People get married all the time, but like for some reason with these two, it's a big fucking deal. I don't know. Found
He
it
says
weird.
they're going to schedule interviews and dig deeper and check their phone records. They're going to talk to neighbors and coworkers.
It may have been just because her shit was already like about to expire,
Maybe.
and they kind of just sprung that on.
Maybe it's like the quickness of it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that if anything doesn't work out, Margaret's going to get deported.
and Andrew's gonna go to jail.
for 5 years.
He's going to
and
get
it.
fined $250,000.
Yep.
He asked Andrew if there's anything if he wants to go through this, and he's like, no,
we're getting
yes. And Andrew says Margaret and him are two people who weren't supposed to fall in love but did.
Yep.
Which is foreshadowing. And then they go to leave the office and they're out on the street, and then he kind of flips the script on her.
Yeah, because at first he's like, "Did you not hear what he just said in there? Like, we're not doing this, right? Like, that could really fuck us up."
Oh, well, the investigator asks if like they've told their parents, and Margaret's like, "My parents are dead," and
We're going
they're-
to tell his parents this weekend.
Because she's like, "Oh yeah, it's Gammy's 90th birthday
Yeah.
weekend. We were gonna tell him that."
And he was in Sitka, Alaska.
Yep.
And I just want to point this out. December, January, and now February, we have done a movie where one of the main characters has dead parents. 8 Crazy Nights, Batman Begins, and now this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, I guess not month wise, but still, there's a fourth one of the night before.
Oh yeah, shit, man.
Like it is
We
still.
had two
You're right. It is still
in
3
December.
different months, but that's four episodes altogether over the span of 3 months.
What are we gonna do in March?
Yeah, dude. Keep this streak going. The orphan streak.
Bro, but yeah, so after the Sitka, Alaska thing, they say that's where they're going to go. And then he cons her basically into promoting him to an editor.
Yeah, because she's like, "Oh yeah, we with her promoting me to editor, we didn't want people to like, think I got it for not good reasons."
Oh, we also forgot to mention that, like, before they even leave there, the investigator says, "Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll see you guys Monday for your interviews."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
also,
like-
as they're leaving, when they're back, I'm sorry, so the editor thing happens in the office.
In the interview, but they also
Yeah.
talk about it again, like
they talk about it again, like,
where
right
he's like,
after.
"I'm dead." He was like, "I was serious. You're gonna promote me, or I'm not doing this."
But she, like, when they're leaving, she's, like, planning the flight and talking to him like he's still her secretary.
yeah.
Yep.
And, she says that she's not going to promote him, so he's going to quit. So he quits.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, that's fine. Then I quit. See you later." And she's like, "No, fine. I need you. Please do this."
Yep.
And he's like, "I want 20." She's like, "You get 10,000 copies first run." He's like, "I want 20,000 copies."
Yep.
Yeah, because she's gonna print his manuscript.
Yeah.
And then
You're gonna print my manuscript. And
he
you
makes her ask her nicely.
on her knees.
And she goes, "Will you marry me?"
And he's like you mean it?
Please, cherries
On
on
your
top,
knees.
marry me.
I don't like the sarcasm, but I'll take it.
And she says yes. And then she can't get up, and he just like walks away.
She like reaches for him to help her, and she's like, "Oh nope," he just walks away.
And then it cuts to them on the flight, and he talks about how well he knows Margaret.
Because he brings a binder of things about him, because he says, "The good thing is I know everything about you, but you don't know nothing about me."
And then she's like, "Oh, you know everything about me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think you." And he's like, "Yeah, I even think you have a tattoo." And she's like, "Why do you say that?" And he talks about like how a dermatologist called and was talking about a type of tool that she needed to have used on her, and he Googled it, and it was a tattoo removal thing.
Yep. But then she canceled the appointment, so she still has it.
And then later on, she does explain why she got it.
Which I think is nice. That's why I watched it and cancel. I probably wouldn't either.
They stay at her place, and then she says that like if they did get married, they'd end up staying at her place. And he's like, "Well, what's wrong with my place?" And she's like, "My place is overlooking Central Park or some bullshit."
Yeah, you probably have some like rinky. She's basically like, you probably have some rinky dink ass apartment. And I'm like, this bit. That's when I had this note. I just realized I couldn't remember why I had this note, and I was like, no, she's just a bitch, man.
Yeah, I
Like,
put she's
That
mean
was
to
me.
him.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
And then they get on the plane, and she's like, "Okay, good, we're here." And he's like, "No, now we got to go on another plane." And they ride a small Sitka Skyways
Yeah.
plane.
It's like a water plane, kind of.
Yeah.
And then when they land, his parents are, his family's waiting for him there.
His mom and grandma.
Yep.
His
and
mom
it's the mom from
lady
Elf.
from Elf and Step Brothers. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Betty White is her
And
grandma.
Back to the Future 3.
I put "What up, Gammy?"
And then I put R.I.P. Betty White. I guess she made it to 90, but not 100.
And then you find out that his dad isn't there because he's always working.
Yeah, he's also just kind of a dick, but we'll find that out later.
We find that out later.
His name's Joe.
And then Gammy calls Margaret Satan's mistress.
That was funny. He's like, she's like, we've heard a lot about you.
So do you prefer Satan's mistress
or Margaret. And then they're like, all right, let's go back to the fort. And there's a nice landscape shot of the lake whenever they're driving into
it's real
town.
fucking nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you find out that Paxton is on everything because the family owns like the entire town.
And then she's like, oh, the Paxton, huh? I didn't know you were rich. He's like, I'm not rich. Well, your family's rich. And then I put in my notes, Andrew wanted to make it on his own, something you wouldn't know anything about, you selfish bitch. Because like, you find out that like he's just trying to follow and do what he loves. That's why he takes all the shit from her, is because he's trying to make something of himself.
Yeah.
Because it's something he cares about.
And also,
she just shits on it the entire fucking movie.
She was gonna be. She also asked like, when are we gonna go to the hotel? And then the mom.
I was like, oh, he canceled that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not staying at the hotel. They got to stay at the family house. And whenever they're throwing, they like have to get on a boat to go to this island they live on.
Yeah, and Margaret's freaking out because she can't swim.
And Ryan Reynolds throws one of her bags in the
That was
lake.
funny. He just launches that shit.
And he says 5-second rule.
Like the mom's like, I got it.
And she also can't go down the ladder either.
Yeah, she's very slow.
And the Gammy's like, she comes with a lot of baggage. And then this is funny because this is kind of a running gag in the movie. Because while she's trying to get down the ladder, Andrew grabs her butt.
Yeah.
Because she's like, get your hands off my ass.
And then she finally steps off the ladder and he says, congratulations, I'm 100 years old now.
Live longer than Betty White.
Hey. And then they ride out to this island and they have a huge house. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't know you were rich. And he says, I'm not rich.
My parents
are. And she's like, that's like the most rich person thing to say.
Yeah.
Which it is. And then there's like this big welcoming party.
Yep.
Because he hasn't been home in 3 years.
Most of that's because of his dad.
Yeah.
Yep. We find out he and his dad have a lot of issues.
And then like they're talking about it in the party. And he's like, we got to stop bickering and act like we like each other. And Margaret snacks on children when they dream. That's what Andrew says.
And when they're at that party, some random lady asks what a book editor does. And Andrew's dad shows up and he also wants to know the answer to that.
Yep.
And his name's Joe, also kind of a cock.
Yeah.
I literally put his dad's an asshole.
And I put, he gets Margaret's name wrong, calls her Meg and then
Maggie.
Yeah.
Which Maggie is short for Margaret.
To be fair, the rest of these notes I have her as Marge.
I put her as M.
Just because it was easier than writing Margaret every time.
I think one time I put Margot.
Nice.
Yeah. And he says, yeah, like, what do they do aside from taking writers out to lunch? And I write, Dad is mean to Andrew because he's, like, telling him, he's like, I didn't think you'd be the kind of person to, like, sleep your way to the middle. And then he calls Margaret his meal ticket, and you brought her home to meet your mother.
Yeah, he's like, she's not my meal ticket, Dad. She's my fiance. I have a note later where I'm like, I gotta wonder how much of this is just him trying to do this, piss his dad off.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think
because like clearly he's just being a dick to try and get back at his dad, I guess.
And then it shows Margaret talking to this dude, and it's like he's not really a waiter. He's like the guy at the party that serves out
serves hors d'oeuvres. He's
what
are they called? Fucking
cocktail
like a server.
waitress. Yeah.
But he's also Oscar from
The Office.
The Office.
So I literally put Oscar with 3 exclamation points.
It's Oscar in all caps.
Yeah.
And then Andrew decides to take this moment to proudly announce in front of everyone that him and Margaret are engaged, and then he calls her Pumpkin.
Yep.
And he also pops a champagne bottle. And then there's this blonde girl that shows up, and her name's Gertrude, and it's his ex-girlfriend's.
Yeah. And at this point, I literally put this is a Hallmark movie disguised as a romantic comedy. Because like this is the exact plot of like any fucking Hallmark movie where like you got the one he used to know back at the hometown, but then it's like the businesswoman that needs to learn to chill and take it easy. It's like it's very Hallmarkish.
And then Gertrude asks how he proposed to Margaret, and Mom and Gammy also want to hear it.
That's probably why my mom loves this movie so much. Then
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
this is very Hallmarkish.
It very is.
And then he decides that he's going to put Margaret on the spot instead.
Yeah, which is probably stupid because like I feel like in this instance you'd probably want to be in control of all aspects.
I
of this,
agree.
Because like with you guys kind of being back and forth at each other, who knows what she's going to spout.
And then she starts talking shit about him immediately and says that he was gutless and had to leave hints.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, your hints were very subtle.
You thought they were subtle, but they fucking weren't.
It's like this whole bullshit little story.
Back and forth, trying to one-up each other.
Where he made like a little box and
made a bunch of hand-cut paper-mache hearts.
Confettis.
But when she opened the box, there was no ring, just a note with an address.
And a handwritten note, like some Humphrey Bogart shit.
Yeah.
And it was also... But he starts saying how masculine it was. And she thought he was cheating. But she goes to the hotel, swings the door open, and he's kneeling on pedals. But he says he's standing. And she said he's crying. And he's like, no, I'm not crying.
Yeah.
And then he asked her to marry him. I don't know. It's just like back and forth bickering.
Yeah, my next big note was literally just weird proposal story.
I put what a fucking story, and then I put Andy a bitch.
And then they try and get him to kiss.
Oh, yeah, that one guy says, "You kiss her on the mouth like you mean
it.
it."
Yeah, I literally have my next note, yeah.
Because he kisses her hand.
And I was like, why are these people so horny for them to kiss each other? Jesus Christ. Because, like, they basically want them to French kiss. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah. And
Like,
then-
chill, dude.
and
I've
then-
never seen this many people want PEA that much. I hate it.
And then they finally break down and actually kiss. And they kind of, you can tell they
well,
kind
everyone
of.
starts chanting "kiss her," and then like they do like a little like peck,
Peck.
and everyone boos, and then Grandma says, "Give her a real one," and then they like give a long, passionate kiss, and everyone eats it up, dude.
But they like it. You can tell by the end they kind of like
They're
it.
digging it.
And then Gammy gives a hug. And then they get taken up to their bedroom, and it's really nice. It's like huge. It has a couch and a bed and a giant view.
Yeah, and then we meet the dog named Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Because I literally put, who the fuck names their dog Kevin?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's fair.
I mean, that's
And
worse.
literally my next note is just, it's a cute dog though. It's just got a stupid fucking name.
Dude, you know how I am. I like animals with people names. I think it's funny.
Come here, Kevin.
Yeah. Eli! You know what I mean?
Paul.
One of these days, man. But, she's like, where's Andrew's room? And the mom's like, we have no delusions in this house that y'all don't sleep together.
Right.
And,
Real progressive.
and then
Oh, they also say to watch out for Kevin and make sure don't go outside because the eagles will snatch him.
Yeah, Betty White says that specifically.
Yeah.
Because she's one with nature, apparently.
Yeah.
And then Betty White grabs a blanket and gives it to him and calls it
baby
the
maker.
baby maker blanket.
Yeah.
And I took a note, like, why are they going to bed when it's bright outside,
It's Alaska.
but it's Alaska?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of quickly put that together.
But I also put, if that is how the sun works in Alaska, I ain't never going there. Because, like, fuck that, dude.
Gammy wants them to fuck. And then it shows them, like,
Because, like, she takes her off for her to get room, and I put my notes, fuck off, Betty. You said goodnight 5 fucking times. These people are trying to fucking go to sleep. Quit fucking
Also,
working.
the remote control for the curtains is sick.
I think that
Agreed.
is cool, yeah. But I was going to say, why is
Just like in Alaska, like you kind of need that.
why is Ryan Reynolds sleeping on the floor whenever there's a couch?
Was there a couch?
There's like a love seat kind of thing, and it's like, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be easy to spread out on it, but it's got to be more comfortable than the floor.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe I'd rather sleep on the floor too. I could be wrong, but either way, I just wanted to point that out. And then, like, Margaret is in the bathroom changing into her pajamas, and she's like really weird about her PJs because they aren't like super revealing or anything. They're just like silk pajamas.
Yeah, but they're also like, I don't know.
They're like shorts as
Yeah.
well. And they're in Alaska. So it's
True.
probably a little nipply.
It looks warm though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Everyone else is wearing flannels.
I don't know. I get it.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know Alaska.
They're
very
also
well.
just like really like they're like pajamas that are probably like cost a pretty big payday. Like really, you knew where you were going. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But she thought she was gonna be in that hotel.
Yeah.
And then the next
Alone, she says. Yeah.
morning,
Frank calls.
Frank calls. Yeah, like the phone starts ringing.
She doesn't know where her phone is, but Andrew, knowing her and everything, knows where it is. She's like, it's in your purse, and then she answers it, and it's Frank.
And then Frank calls, and she like runs
And
outside.
she leaves the fucking door open, and Kevin gets
And
out.
here comes the dog.
Yep.
But she's like calming Kevin. She's like, if you need to do Oprah,
Yeah,
like,
because she's also trying to apologize for making him do Oprah.
yeah, like I'm sorry, I know you don't do a lot of appearances, but this is really gonna help your career or whatever.
Was Oprah even still on in 2009?
I think so.
I think so.
And then
Not much longer probably though, after that. Before she really starts the Oprah.
the
network.
dog goes out there and starts barking
That's
at
all
her
stuff.
because it's a little dumb shit. And then
Yep.
it gets taken by an eagle.
I literally put my notes. This dog's a fucking goner. and
Yeah. And
then like it literally snatches her up, but she notices. She's like, "Oh no!" And she like runs and like throws the phone at the fucking eagle, and it drops Kevin, and she like barely catches Kevin.
yeah, she catches
But then she's
Kevin.
like, "Wait, I need my phone back." So then she tries to offer Kevin back up for her phone.
Yeah.
Like, we don't take the dog. I need that phone.
And then Mom and Granny are watching from the kitchen, and they think that she is playing
Yeah, which
with
is
Kevin.
funny. And then fucking Andrew goes up to, I got this, and he's like, "Are you fucking drunk? What are
Yeah.
you doing?"
And then they tell him to go get her because they have a big day planned for
Yeah.
Margaret.
Which I have a note for later, but I'll spoil it here. Like, I'm pretty sure he knows they're taking her to the strip club because like he seems very in on the joke.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, "Oh yeah, you have a big day planned."
But she says she doesn't want to go out. She hates shopping and sightseeing.
Right.
And then Andrew's like, "Hey, we got to hug and make it look like we actually care about each other."
Yeah, we can't go back in there thinking they having them think we just fought.
And he also rubs and pats her butt.
Yeah, and she's like, if you touch my butt one more time, I'll cut your balls off.
And then she smacks him hard.
Yeah.
But it looks loving, but she smacks the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And then he goes out to see his dad.
Yep.
It cuts to him going to talk to his dad, who's hitting golf balls into the water, and he has eco balls that dissolve in water. Which I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because he says something too about how his wife made him. Either made him or bought them.
She
I was
bought
like,
him for him. And Dad apologizes for how he acted.
Yeah, for being a dick at the party.
But he's just trying to get him to come home and take over the family business.
Yeah, because he's going to retire soon.
Yeah, we find out that Andrew is his only son.
Yeah, and Andrew's like, hey, but I don't want to come back because my job makes me happy.
Yeah, I enjoy what I do.
Yeah, because his dad wants him to stop goofing off in New York.
I'm not goofing off. I'm doing what I love. I literally put my notes. Andrew stands up for what makes him happy.
I like that.
He also says he wishes his dad had another son that wanted to run the family business.
But I don't, so stop trying to pawn it on.
And he also doesn't accept his dad's half-assed apology.
Agree. He's, you know what? Apology not accepted.
And then it cuts to the bar in town with Andrew's family and ex, which I think is kind of weird that Gertrude's there.
It is weird,
And
but
then,
I guess it was one of those things where it's like I guess it was amicable. We just had this conversation about how last week about how being friends with your ex, like they seem to be in good talking terms or whatever.
I guess so. It just seems like it'd be weird.
It is weird. It's not the most poignant thing. I get it.
But then there's a male stripper because of course there is,
And it's
Oscar.
Which apparently his name is Ramon.
His name's Ramon,
Well.
and he's the only exotic dancer on the island.
Yeah, I think the note I'm thinking of is later, but yeah,
And I thought Oscar is kind of more in shape than I assumed he would be.
agreed.
From what I can tell with the 360p quality that this video has.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's also funny because they put a veil on her, and she starts getting a lap dance, and he pulls his pants off and has on a Speedo that doesn't really fit him very well.
Yep.
And he also has on knee pads.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty crazy.
And he starts pumping his dong right in her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he starts kissing on her hand and shoves her finger in his mouth.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
And the Betty White Gammy says, "Smack his ass."
And then she gets there. She's like, "Okay, I gotta get out of here."
Yeah, she goes, "Can I get down now?"
Yeah. She goes outside, kind of get some air. That's when
Gertrude comes to talk to her. And I put the late 2000s was really good to Malin Ackerman.
Yeah.
Because she was in a lot of shit.
And then they talk about Andrew going to New York, and that's kind of the catalyst for them breaking up because they dated all through high school and college.
Yeah, but
And
this is her hometown, and she doesn't want to leave it.
At the very end of college, Andrew wanted to elope and run away to New York, but Gertrude said no. And she talks about how Andrew is a really good guy, and Gertrude and Margaret cheers.
Because then you find out, they say, Ramon sounds like he's wrapping it up with there, and I put in my notes, I guarantee the last thing Ramon is doing is wrapping it up.
I just wrote Ramon is the dancer.
Yeah.
So, and then they get home, the mom, I never got the mom's name, did y'all?
No, I literally just refer to her as
I
mom.
only refer to her as mom. I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, why not?
I didn't even get the dad's name, so...
Mary.
Mary. Because I literally...
No, Grace, my bad. Her name was Grace.
Oh, yeah,
Her actress name is Mary.
They do call her Grace later. I do remember.
Because all throughout this movie, I just refer to his dad as an asshole. Because his dad's an asshole.
Well, his name was Joe.
Joe, okay, that's
And
it.
then Andrew, whenever they get home, Andrew's angrily hollowing out a canoe, listening to
Which
rock
his mom
music.
knows means that he's pissed off about something.
Yeah.
And she knows that his dad has something to do with it.
And then the mom confronts the dad, what did you do? And he's like, well, I just had a frank conversation with him about his future.
Yeah.
And the mom and dad are arguing, and Margaret comes inside and kind of hears what they're arguing about, but she doesn't really stand around to listen.
Because the dog starts barking.
Because Kevin starts barking.
Yeah, she has to run. But I just put in my notes the mom is afraid that she won't see her son anymore because his dad is driving a wedge between them.
And she also says, God forbid we end up alone with a grandchild we never see.
Oh God, that's
Yeah.
that kind of made me sad.
And then
I also put the Andrew hollowing out that old canoe is pretty much the equivalent to Josh Peck running off his desires in Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything to refer
Running
to.
off my desires.
But yeah, it's pretty much in blowing
Letting
off
off some steam. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then Margaret's in the shower, and because she says she's going to go take a shower.
Yeah.
And Andrew comes in the room.
He's got headphones in.
He's got headphones in, so he
can't
doesn't
hear
know
him at
she's
all.
in there.
Yeah.
And she needs to go get a towel because she doesn't have one.
Yeah, because she's showered and like, I guess kind of air dried a little bit, but she needs a towel, so she's like looking out there trying to get one. She sees him, but Kevin's in the fucking way, and
Well, no, yeah, because Kevin's standing there barking at her.
yeah,
And she sees where the towels are from where Andrew just grabbed some and left the thing open.
yeah,
So she goes to get a towel, and then at the same time while this is going on, for some reason Drew's out on the fucking patio,
like taking her shirt and pants
and he gets
off.
completely naked out there.
Even with the iPod and headphones still in his head for some fucking reason.
Yep, still got his headphones in, but butt ass naked. It's like, bro, just play your music out loud. It's okay.
Yeah.
And the dog has her cornered.
Yeah, she wants to blow
Yeah, blow
dryer
dryer.
at it.
Yep.
He's like, you like this? You like this? He's like, and the dog's like sitting there like, "Arr." He's like, oh, you do like this.
And she does the old swooparoo
On the rug. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was a little
And then she
maneuver.
turns and runs out the bathroom and runs directly into Andrew.
Yeah,
And
and
they're
they're both
And
butt
they're
ass
both
naked.
butt ass naked.
And I literally put, this is some anime ass shit, accidentally falling naked onto each other. Like, I told him some weird shit that happens in, like, some weird anime.
Yeah, and like
And she goes, "Why are you naked?" And he says, "Why are you wet?" She probably was wet after that. You know what I'm saying?
I would be
I
too.
would've
I bet
been.
that
What's
guy's
up,
a
Ryan
monster
Reynolds?
dog.
He's fucking cut in this movie too.
Yeah, he is.
And she's like, "Oh my god, I see it all." Like-
well, this is probably right around the time he did Wolverine,
Yeah,
Oh, it
she's
would've
pretty
been.
jacked for that too.
Yeah.
and then right before he did Green Lantern.
Yep.
and then
You're in the big leagues, kid.
she like runs to go cover up, and she at first grabs the baby maker to cover herself.
Yeah,
And
she's
"Not
like,
my
oh, baby maker. Gross.
And then they kind of explain to each other what happened.
Yeah.
And Andrew says, "What is it with you and this dog?"
Yeah.
And then he says, "Nice tattoo, by the way," because he finally saw it.
Yeah, and then she says, go take a shower. You smell.
And then it cuts to that night.
Yeah,
And,
he,
Back on
and
the
he-
floor.
and he goes so naked.
so naked. And then she's like, "What's the deal with your father? That's not in the binder."
Yeah, that's not in the body. I don't want to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
He gets defensive about it. And He
Yeah.
says it's not in the binder. Don't worry about it.
And then he kind of feels bad for being mean to her. He's like, ah.
And then they kind of have a moment of silence, and then she starts talking more about like
herself.
Herself.
And then she explains that like she got that tattoo when she was 16 after her parents died.
Yeah.
She also explains that she doesn't like flowers because they remind her of funerals.
Just like her parents when they
She's
died.
never played a video game. She tells him her favorite book. She tells him her first concert was Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock,
Nice.
and that she also took disco lessons.
Yeah, when she was a kid.
And she hasn't had sex for a year and a half.
And then I put in my notes, Margaret's life is kind of sad. Because I didn't know she
Yeah.
was an orphan until this point.
And then she also
I
says
had been paying attention that much to that part earlier.
she also says she went to the bathroom and cried when Bob called her a poisonous bitch.
bitch.
And then yeah, she explains the tattoo. And then I wrote, this is a nice moment in the movie. I do like it.
Yeah, agreed.
And then
He's like, well, you haven't had sex for a year and a half. She's like, that's what you took from that.
yeah, he says that is a long time.
And then he's like, also, who is
Who's Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock?
right? And she's like, you know the song.
And then she starts singing "It Takes
It
Two
makes
to Make,
two to
make Things Go Right."
And then he's like, no, I knew what it was. I just wanted to hear you sing it.
And he tells her that she is beautiful.
He's like, please don't take this the wrong way, but you're a beautiful woman. Because like it's kind of like he sees her for who she is. Like
Yeah.
like Bob was wrong. You're not a poisonous bitch. You're just a person.
Yeah, because like
I see you.
because I basically put down that like I wrote down that they have like a really nice bonding moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy the bedroom scene. And then the next morning, like Ryan Reynolds is passed out on the floor. Oh, I'm sorry, Andrew is passed out on the floor, and so she's like sprawled out through that bed. She sleeps fucking crazy style.
Yeah, because when she gets up, her hair's all fucked up too, and she like brushes it and puts a little bit of makeup
Yeah,
on.
because she like fucking sits up too.
Yeah, she's like, yeah,
And she accidentally opens the curtains too.
Yeah.
just a little bit, and then mom and dad knock on the door to wake them up with breakfast.
And so she has to like wake up Andrew to get
Yeah,
in
but
the
he
bed.
won't wake up, and she fucking yeets a pillow at that motherfucker. He's like, ugh!
And he throws it back at her.
Yeah.
And they bring them breakfast in bed.
And Andrew has morning wood.
And then they have a proposal
Hey,
to
what was
them.
Because she's like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, it's morning.
It's morning. Yeah, I put LOL. His dick's hard. And then they propose to them that they get married
Tomorrow.
tomorrow
In the barn.
in the barn.
So that way they can be there for it.
And they're like, well, tomorrow's Gammy's birthday. And Gammy comes barreling in there and says that she wants to see the wedding of her one grandchild.
She's like, I've had 90 birthdays. I'm good.
And then she says, do it before I'm dead.
Which is, coming soon.
2021.
In
The real
11
life.
years.
Yeah, And Andrew's kind of freaking out about it, and Margaret says that it's not like they'll be married forever, and they will be happily divorced before they know it.
Yeah, and it's a nice scene too. 'Cause she's like rubbing his shoulder. And she's like, "This is I think where she starts finally feeling like, oh shit, I'm kind of fucking up here." But she's like, it's gonna be okay. Your parents aren't gonna hate you.
She's really thumbing his bicep.
Yeah, and like you can tell he kind of likes it. And then she grabs the stuff that they make for breakfast and brings it to him.
Yeah, because she does all that, and then
you can tell she's getting a little uncomfortable, or not uncomfortable, like she's not comfortable with these feelings yet. So she like quickly gets up and like goes to shower.
She says, "I'm gonna leave and go take a walk outside," and she goes to shower, and then she gets on a bicycle and starts riding it through the woods, and you can tell like she hasn't ridden a bike in a while.
Yeah, because she's like, "Oh, this struggling." She's like, "Oh, this is steep and this is very bumpy," and then she almost crashes until she sees Betty White doing some
weird culty
some
shit.
hereditary ass rituals. What I put in my notes.
Yeah, walks up on Gammy doing some weird ritual in the woods, and then Gammy like immediately knows she's there.
Yeah, and then like she makes the fucking fire go up real hard, and I put Grandma going crazy with a cane pyro.
Yeah. Come see how I give thanks to Mother Earth. We must give thanks.
And then like they start chanting some bullshit, and the next thing you know, Margaret starts singing "Get Low."
E-O. Just make noises. Use your vowels. And then she starts singing "Get Low." To the window.
To the wall. Just put drop down my balls.
Skeet, motherfucker. Skeet.
Which this movie was like PG-13, so they weren't allowed to say.
Well, she didn't say that, but she says "goddamn." And then I just wrote, "This is ridiculous." But then she kind of getting it though. Like
she's fucking
She kind of popping that little thing.
I put Grandma's digging it. Andrew sees the whole thing.
Andrew shows
like,
up.
"What the hell's going on here?"
And he says, "She said told me to chant from the heart," and he says, "Balls? That's what came
to your heart?"
And then he's like, "Your phone came in, and
we gotta go pick it up from the general store."
And whenever she's leaving, Gammy says, "Whatever you do is what you'll be."
Yeah, because she's like, "Are you be okay if I go?" She's like, "Yeah, you're fine."
And then they get to the general store,
and Ramon
does everything in this fucking town.
Yeah, I literally put Ramon is like Julie from Scott Pilgrim having all these fucking jobs.
Yeah. And then they joke. Ramon goes and asks her if she remembers the dance that he gave her.
He's like, "No, trust me, I remember."
And then
while they're in town, Andrew says he loves Pringles.
Okay.
I don't know how I wrote that down, but
it's because it's important. Cause he's like the way to my heart very quickly is beef jerky, Pringles, any snack cake, and she's like, "Oh, so you're like you're like a teenager." He's like, "Yeah," because it's like he's just giving her more tips for the quiz later.
And then you find out that they need a computer.
Yeah, for some shit she has to do for work.
And they have to go to an internet cafe.
Yeah, but it's like rough.
It's old.
It's old, and you need to pay with like dimes for like the hour.
Yeah, and it's on fucking dial-up.
Yeah,
and they also have like like in the 90s movies,
the
like
OG Max,
the blue Max,
the Transcendent Max. Yeah, I literally put the OG Max. Is pretty cool though.
It is cool
because it's funny that the one next to it too is also out of order. There's only one working.
I put dime internet as dial-up, and that's diabolical, but I remember those days. But I don't remember paying dimes.
I like the alliteration.
Yeah. But like...
Diabolical.
I remember...
Dial-up is diabolical.
Dude, I remember dial-up, but I don't remember paying dime for it.
Yeah, and then also during this, Andrew goes
outside to talk to Gertrude. Yeah.
He goes and talks to her, and Margaret is watching him go talk to Gertrude, and she's wearing like a jealous girlfriend face.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Stupid hard.
Oh, yeah.
And she brings it up later too. She's like, "Oh, you're talking to Gertrude, huh?"
And then it cuts to them walking down the street, like right after that. And she's like, "Yeah, Gertrude looked really pretty today." And I wrote, "Sounding like a jealous girlfriend for real."
Yeah, like trying to bait it out of him.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, she looked really pretty today, huh?"
And he's like, "Yeah."
Like no matter which way I answer this question, I'm screwed, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And then Mom and Gammy show up for Margaret, and they promise that there's no strippers or chanting in the woods.
Yep.
And they're going dress shopping.
And
this is where I put my notes that I don't know if this is actually filmed in Alaska, but like I just put in my notes. Alaska is what I feel like the Brozarks is like, because like they take the boats everywhere to get to places. Yeah. I was like, I bet that's what the Brozarks is like.
And then so the dress she's trying on is one that
Randy wore.
And it was made by Gammy's mom in 1929.
For her wedding.
And she's like, "It's funny how things come back in style."
Yeah.
And you find out that the grandma, Gammy, is the best tailor in town.
Yep.
And that she got big titties.
Yep.
And was also pregnant.
Because she doesn't really fit in the dress car. She's like, "Oh, I can improve that, though." And then Granny totally fondles Margaret, trying to find her boobs
and
in the
makes
dress.
fun of her for having small titties.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, shit, there they are. Those are not bad. And I was like, whoa, okay, calm down, Granny.
And then while this is going on, the mom,
Kind of
Grace,
starts to cry a little bit.
is like,
her
can
and
we
Margaret
come?
have a nice moment.
Yeah.
She's like, I was wondering if we could come and see y'all in New York for the holidays. And she's like, yeah, or maybe we could come up here and see you. And she gets emotional.
Yeah, Grace starts to cry, and Granny's like, "Get yourself together."
And then Gammy gives Margaret a necklace that has been in the family for 150 years.
Yeah, like her mom gave it to her.
And she says that she likes to give things to her grandchildren.
Yeah, but she's like, I want to give them to my grandchildren for them to remember me by. And I was like, fuck, it kind of kind of made me sad a little bit. Because, like, something to remember me by when I'm dead. And I'm like, damn, man, that's fucking sad.
Because she is dead.
Yeah, but, like, I was like, because we like to give things to let them know we cared about it. I was like, damn, man, shit.
Yep, I wrote this is getting emotional.
Yeah.
And also she kind of talks about, like, the great-grandfather and her great-grandmother and how it used to be they had to get approval for the whole tribe.
Yeah.
It's just like this. It's kind of a bit of a long in the tooth thing, in
Yeah.
my opinion. But great grandma was tough and wouldn't take no for an answer, just like Margaret.
Right. And I really love that, like, you can tell Margaret's starting to regret it.
She's
like,
starting
no.
to crack.
She's like, I can't take this from you. This is not,
Yeah, I wrote Margaret about to cry because she's living a lie.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wow,
Yep.
she loves Drew for real.
Yeah, because like there's a good line later I want to bring up that like pretty much proves that like you can tell she's pretty much in love with him. And then
It's just pans to Andrew just chilling in the boat.
yeah, and then she gets back there and then she fucking GTA's the boat. She's like, all right, let's go.
And she's telling him she forgot what it was like to have a family.
Yeah.
And she's just screwing it up because his family loves him.
Yep.
And
He does the same thing for her, kind of, where he's like, where he kind of comforts her of like, no, you're fine. It's not. We're doing this for a reason. It's nothing. You know, my family's gonna be fine. Like kind of calming her nerves, like she calmed his.
And then while she's like having her conscious breakdown, he starts driving the boat, and
Because they're about to hit a buoy, and he swerves, and
Yep.
she falls off the boat,
and she can't swim, and he
Yeah,
doesn't
really.
realize it at first either. So she's gonna die.
Because he's like, oh, you choose now to you choose now to shut up, and then he's like, oh shit, you're not on the boat.
But luckily she was able to get on. But yeah, he ends up getting back there and saving her after she's like kind of holding on to the buoy.
Yeah.
And he pulls her in, and they have a really nice moment where like he puts a bunch of towels and blankets on her, and he like
gives her warms her
grabs
up with body temperature.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I put somebody must be cutting onions in here.
So anyway, they get back to land, and Daddy says, "Hey, we need to talk to you two, and this doesn't get back to your mom."
Yeah.
And he takes him into the barn.
And then oh fuck, it's the guy.
It's the
Gilbertson.
Agent Gilbertson.
Yeah.
And I just put in my notes, Dad's an even bigger asshole than we thought.
Yeah, Dad flew him up there because he's a fucking dick.
Because he called him looking for them, and the dad knew what was going on, so he called him and said, "Come on down here," and made a deal that if Andrew gives her up now, he can go free and she gets deported.
Yep.
And Dad's like, "Please do this. I don't want you throwing your life away."
And then Andrew's like, he doubles down. He's like, no, she's my fiance. We've been dating for 6 months, and and then I asked her to marry me.
And if you don't like it, then I'll fucking see you at the wedding.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Yep.
And I put, hell yeah, Andrew, a stand-up guy.
Yeah,
he'd
for
been
real,
working under her for over 3 years, and like started dating. We fell in love, and I'll see you at the wedding.
So good.
And then they have a moment in the bedroom, but Gammy interrupts.
Yep. To take him away because he can't see the bride before the wedding.
And I'm talking about how they're getting sweet on each other. And then
Yep.
he's sleeping on the couch.
And he's tossing and turning.
I also just want to say that he's sleeping with the baby maker.
Yeah, Hood is true.
And he hates his dad.
Yeah.
For sure.
Fuck
For
you,
sure.
Dad.
Which, I mean, if my dad was like that, I would also hate my dad.
Yeah. But now it's wedding time.
Yep, it's wedding time. He's at the altar, and boy, does he look handsome. And then I put, must be nice. And Sarah got mad at me. She said, take it back. And then I wrote, his dad ain't up there with him because his dad's a fucking prick.
Also, Mr. Gilbertson's at the wedding as well.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Who invited that motherfucker?
I think he
Dad.
just kind of showed up.
Man, fuck the dad.
He's probably like, I'm gonna make sure this fucking wedding's legit.
And then also, I just wanted to comment that Margaret looks very nice in her dress as well.
Agreed. And I think it's really sweet that Betty walks her down the aisle. Or
Me
Grant
too.
Gammy walks her down the aisle. I'm like, oh, that's pretty sweet. Because she doesn't have any parents to give her away, so I thought that was really sweet.
I also wrote, Gammy is a hell of a sewer. Found the titties and everything.
Ramona's the minister.
Yeah,
I put
one more job.
I put Oscar is killing it in this movie.
He really was, dude.
I put jack of all trades for real. And then also, Gertrude does not look happy.
Yeah.
Like, she looks pissy.
Yeah.
And I also commented on Ramon's sweet bolo tie that he was wearing. It
Yeah.
was fucking cool. My dad has a bolo tie.
Fuck it, I'll wear the bolo tonight.
Macklemore.
My dad's got a bolo tie, and he looks pretty fucking cool in it.
The girl
when he
that
wears it.
played Gertrude, she was like like there was a time where like the late 2000s, she was in a lot of
She
shit.
was in a lot of shit, and then like she fell off the place with her.
Yeah, I don't know the fuck happened.
It's
to her.
weird, yeah,
She's
I
in a
agree.
Ben Stiller movie.
Yeah.
She's in a fucking Couples Retreat.
Yeah, I forgot about that fucking movie. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think she's in a couple. I think she's in another Vince Vaughn movie too.
Yeah,
Fred Claus.
Yeah,
that is it. Yep.
Is it really? That was just a shot in
I
the
think
fucking
I
dark.
could be. I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure he's right. Like it sounds. I think that might be right.
Well, that movie came out around that time. It's like 2011. Or
she's in
something.
The Watchmen. She's Laurie Jupiter.
Yeah, she is shit.
Jupiter, my bad.
Yeah.
Also, I also have Ramon as a priest in the note. Ramon is also the priest in the notes.
While you're looking that up, I'm going to talk a little bit more because this is whenever Margot
And they're
at the altar.
they're like this close to fucking getting married, and she's like, oh well, I
And
have,
she
I have something to
decides-
say.
that she's gonna have a conscience,
Yep.
and she starts telling them all about how she's Canadian and gonna be deported, and she admits that she is lying.
I don't see it on there, but she was in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Who was she in that?
That's a good
Lee
question because I
Ryan.
I don't watch the first one that much. I watch Guantanamo Bay a lot more.
She's
Surprisingly.
she's in Wanderlust with Jennifer Aniston and Paul Rudd.
That's a pretty good movie.
And then she talks about the dad and gives props to him for being on to her or whatever, and she admits all the blackmail, and she says it's not easy to see him do it because she found out how wonderful he is.
Yeah, it's very hard to ruin someone's life when you find out
Yeah.
how good of a person they are.
Yeah, how beautiful they are.
Yeah.
And that inspector dude's just kind of sitting there looking all smug.
Yeah, like
And everyone's confused.
And then she goes to leave, and she tells him that he's going to take her to the airport or whatever. Like she's going to give him a ride, or he's
Yeah.
going to give her a ride. And he chases after her though because basically, bro ended up actually wanting to get married to her.
Yeah, because she goes upstairs to try to find her, and she's not there.
She took off the dress.
She left a note.
and the bouquet,
Yeah,
and she left a note that she
Saying
read
that
his
she's-
manuscript.
and she's gonna publish it anyway before she leaves.
Yep.
And then Gertrude comes up and is like, so it's,
She's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah,
And,
but here comes Gert to pick up the pieces, bitch.
No.
That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I put Gertrude sees that he likes her because she kind of brings up the fact that like, yes,
It didn't work out between them, but she wants to see him happy because she knows how good of a dude he is.
exactly.
Well, I
I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I
so I also
preemptively
was kind
put
of-
that before it. Of course I did. Because wouldn't you immediately think that too?
At first
before
I
she
did,
starts
but then
talking?
I'm like, oh shit, no, she a real one because she literally sees how much he likes her, and because he's getting all crazy over her too. Before that happens, he's like she chooses the one time she leaves without saying anything and leaves me this fucking note, and then that's when she drops her wisdom of like,
Are you just gonna go? Are
are
you
you
just
just
gonna
gonna
let
stand
her
there
go?
or are you gonna go after
You
her?
gotta go after
I
her.
was like, no, I was like, she a real one for real.
You gotta
She
shit or
a-
get off the pot.
You gotta
Exactly.
get off the
Shit or
pot.
get off the pot. Exactly. And he says, fuck it, I'm getting off the pot.
Damn right. And yep, she makes him crazy because he loves her, and he isn't gonna let her go. And then it cuts to her
She-
sitting on the boat with the guy, and she
Yeah.
being all stoic, and he tells her that she has 24 hours
To vacate the country.
to head back to Canada when they land in New York.
Yep. And then Andrew starts to go that way, and his fucking asshole dad tries to stop him again. He's like, no, you're not going after her. Like, you're not going to ruin your fucking life for her.
And then Gammy fakes a heart attack.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't know that yet.
Gammy has a heart
Gammy's
attack.
having a heart attack.
Yeah, you're right. And
She's
then-
like, please stop fighting. They got on the plane to take her to the hospital
is this bitch about to die on her birthday?
on her 90th. No, she's going to die on her 99th. And then, like, up in the plane, she has this moment where she takes out the oxygen mask. She's like, you guys need to be better to each other. She's like, Andrew, you got to make more time for the family.
Yeah, she
And
says.
you got to support Andrew no matter what, even if you don't like it. He's like, I will.
And then she says the spirits can take her.
And then she's like, never mind, I guess I'm not dying.
Yeah, she was playing.
Yeah, she was just faking a heart attack. Which, I mean, to be fair, the second she started passing out, for all the time it's been since I haven't seen this movie, I was like, I know that bitch is faking.
Yeah, I
But then, like, when
think
she was
too.
in the helicopter, she was in the plane, I'm like, no shit, this bitch might be dying. And then she's like, oh, no, I'm just kidding. I was like, oh, no, I knew that bitch was faking. And then we get the meme. Because I send this as a GIF all the time, where with Ryan Reynolds like put his hand in his head. I send that GIF all the time.
Hell yeah.
I was like, what's the meme? I like it. I know that one.
Yeah, and then they get dropped off at the airport.
Yeah, because Granny tells the pilot to go to the other airport.
For some reason, I just wrote, because I have threatens to call the pilot's mom, and then I have a note, and then the note after that just says, go, Andrew, go. And the note in between those two notes just says, dude sucks his own dick the long way. I don't know. I don't know who I'm talking about. Maybe it's the dad.
Oh, no, it's Mr. Gilbertson because I don't know.
Okay.
Because it pans to Gilbertson and Margaret on the plane, and he's bragging about how he always gets his man.
Oh, okay. So that's how you suck your dick the long
Yeah.
way.
I thought that was later when he's back at the office. Is that on
Nope.
the plane?
Yeah, it's on the plane.
Yeah, it's on the plane. He's sucking his own dick the long way.
Well, I literally put in my notes, this marriage license guy enjoys his job a little too much.
See, we all said basically the same thing.
Yeah, I just thought it was a scene later, but it's fine.
Because then it pans back to...
It's like Andrew getting off the plane that they were in, like the
Yeah,
hospital
and he
helicopter.
calls his buddy who he knows
Chuck.
Chuck,
is the air traffic controlman. He's like, I saw that plane. He's like, I can't do that, man.
He's
They're
like,
already
that's a
taking
no
it off."
can do.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that's a Dragola.
Yeah. And then his dad walks up and he's so confused, and I love this line. It's she's like, he can tell her that she loves him. And he's like, what do you mean he loves her? He's like, yeah, she wouldn't, if she loved him, if she didn't love him, she wouldn't have left.
Yep.
Like, she did it because she loved him.
And Joe apologizes and said he didn't know how he felt about her.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well,
It's
that's what you get for being a fucking asshole.
It's a nice
bro.
little father-son moment,
Yep.
though. I will give them that.
And I assume that's what your note is for Go Andrew Go, because he has to go back to New York before she leaves. I assume is that what your note is about?
Nah, Go goes him running off the airplane. Because then it's the cut to her clearing out her office.
Yep.
And the people are all, like, happy about her leaving. And they'll, like, walk past, like, where the glass doors are of her office. And they, like,
Yeah.
run past real fast.
Yeah.
Because they don't know that she's had a change of heart. And then I think it's kind of fucked up that nobody's helping her either.
Yeah, I thought that, because, like, you could tell people were trying to avoid her. I'm like, it's kind of fucked up, dude. I'm like, fuck.
And then she goes out there and asks Jordan to help her, like, ship some stuff off.
She hands her new address on the paper. She said make sure all the boxes in there get sent to
Yeah,
this
and then
address.
Jordan's like, hey, turn around.
And he head nods towards Andrew. He head nods off screen, and she turns around and sees Andrew walking in slow mo. I might add.
And she says, why are you panting? And he says,
I was running.
Because I've been running. And she says, from Alaska?
Like, basically.
Yeah.
And they need to talk, and she said we don't have time to talk because she has to catch a 5:45 to Toronto.
And then he kind of yells at her, and you can tell she kind of liked that shit.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, 'cause he's like, Margaret, shut your mouth.
Yeah, because he says he tells her to stop talking and confesses his love for her and asks her to marry him and says he wants to date her.
Yeah, I want to marry. Will you marry me so we can date?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like one comes before the other, but go on.
In this scenario, in order to stay in the country, no, but usually yes.
And she's like, you don't want to be with me because, like, she thinks that, like, she sucks.
And she thinks she's not worth it.
She said there's a reason that she's been alone all this time, and it's
'Cause
best if they just forgot everything that happened. in
Because like she
Alaska.
likes being alone, apparently.
She thinks it's easier for her to leave, and he
Yeah.
agrees.
But
then he
but
gets
it's
up
hard
on
to
her.
initiate change. We
Yep.
learned that last week. But if you put in the effort, you can make it work.
And then she says she's scared, and he says he's also scared, and then they smooch for real.
For real, for real.
For real, for real.
And then everyone in the office claps.
Yeah, and she's like, "Are you supposed to get down on one knee or something?" He says,
I'm gonna take that as a
"Yeah, I'm
yes.
take that as a yes." And then
They start
continue
making out kind of heavy.
The office starts clapping. Pans to them in Gilbertson's office.
Well, also, there's a guy that says, show her who's the boss, Andrew.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
She still
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
She's still
she
technically
is.
the boss. Because they get married.
And then it cuts to the inspector guy.
He is
Yeah, he's like, you get a single question wrong, you're fucked.
Gonna
I'll take you down.
And I put credits play while the interview plays on the side. I'm not taking any notes on this part because I'm tired and I'm ready for fucking bed.
I just took like 2 things.
This was the first movie I watched for all the movies we had to watch, so I definitely wasn't ready for bed.
Ramon really wants to fuck Margaret. Kevin doesn't like Margaret, and Margaret farts in her sleep.
Yep.
That's the 3. Because I was like, I started to watch, and I was like, I'm not gonna take notes on all this.
I like how the first question though was how long have you two been together? He's like, oh, a week.
a week. All right, Dylan.
5.
That's
Five out of
that's
10.
another movie juiced.
Yeah.
I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. Like it'd be okay background noise, but the chances of me going out of my way throw it on for background noise very rare.
Yeah.
I will say my mom loves this movie, but it's just not for me. I mean, like definitely if I needed something, if I needed some fucking white people bland noise in the background, yeah, sure I'd throw this on.
Yeah.
Let's say like my car's getting worked on.
And it's playing
it's
on
and they have-
playing at the mechanic
and they
office.
have-
I guess I'm on.
They got a cable box and maybe the remote's like free.
yeah.
And I'm scrolling through the guide.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I can get a few chuckles out of this.
And the proposal's on, and that's like the only thing really on.
Yeah,
I'd
sure.
watch it again.
I'll get some chuckles
Yeah,
out of it.
I'm just not gonna give it anything more than a 5.
Yeah.
Because I don't
I
care.
think I give it a 5.5.
I'll give it
I give it a 5.5.
a 5.5. That's not bad. I was originally going to go with 6, but I'm not going to be the only one that goes that high.
I was gonna give it a. In my notes originally, I gave it a 6.5.
I stuck to
Really?
my notes on this one. I gave it a 5 in my notes.
I
and
didn't
gave
didn't
it-
know what I was doing with mine yet. I really wasn't sure about it.
I always preemptively give it a rating at the end of my
Me
notes.
too.
I never really think about it unless I have strong feelings one way or the other. My thing for this one was I wasn't really strong one way or the other.
Me neither. I'm not strong on it at all, and I was gonna normally give it a 6.5, but after we talked about how there are much better rom-coms, not really like rom-coms anyway.
Yeah.
I can't go super high on it because, like, if we watch 50 First Dates, that's like my favorite rom-com. I guess I'd give it like a 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like my favorite one. So what am I gonna do? Give this one something similar? Nah, 5.5. It's all right.
Yeah.
You know?
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
There's a place in this world for okay movies.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know?
The mechanics office.
Yes.
Yeah. Moms watch these.
Yeah.
Dylan's mom specifically.
Yeah.
Specifically, yeah, for sure. Has anybody got anything else to
I
add?
think we're good.
All right. Well, that's been
Nah.
another.
Listen to the podcast.
Well, that's
Bitch.
been another Movie Juiced. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. You can follow us on Facebook at Movie Juice, Instagram at Movie Juice Pod, Twitter at Movie Juice Pod. We still got that coming soon website at www.moviejuicepod.com. And if you have any suggestions for movies you want to see us review, if you want to give us your review on movies we've already watched, or if you have any suggestions for a logo, or if you just want to give us a rating, we'll read it on the pod. You can email us at moviejuicepod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. All links can be found in our link tree. We're on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube. You can follow us all individually on Instagram and Twitter. Our handles are in the description below. We'll be back next week with the 2008 hit film Tropic Thunder, starring and directed by Ben Stiller, also starring Jack Black and Robert Downey Jr. And as always, I've been Dylan.
I've been Kyle.
And I've been James. And for one last time, this has been The Juice.